administrator. No,
Drake?
Drake.
Drake?
Yep.
Why?
He wouldn't give me a reason. I told him I'll even sign a paper to release you. If you're afraid I'm going to get hurt, I'm not worried about it.
He didn't want you on the sidelines?
Nope. I had to go sit in the stands. So my nephew got to be coach.
I was going to say Tommy is your nephew.
That's right. So
You took care of that one.
We pulled a few strings.
I was going to say, suddenly, no problem.
Yeah, I love it. That's power, Jim.
That's the way it should be,
Yeah,
Jim.
that's right.
It really hurt me because I couldn't understand why. And I said, my God, you got kids running around. Little kids like this running around playing touch football. You're not worried about them, but you're worried about me. And you can't kill a Dago by knocking him on his ass. Believe me. Well, it's the truth. I've been there before.
There's a soundbite. Yeah. Jim Pollaro started racing. Was that in your family?
No. Just believe it or not, I drove the first race, I think, and that was many, many years back at Stateline Speedway. And it was a car that Cusimano brothers had put together. It was an old Cord, and I think it had a Buick engine in it. And Sammy Lemancusa used to drive it. And I don't know whether he was late or what, but I asked if I could try it, and he said, yeah. Boy, did I mess that up. And they just found out how to go down through the pond over there and through the barbed wire fence and end up in the parking lot. I said, well, there's got to be a first for everything, I guess.
That's a hoot.
Oh, dear.
At one point, you actually went down to Daytona, didn't you, with Kenny Johnson and Bud Finale?
Yeah.
How did that connection all come together?
Well, Kenny was from way back, too. He was one of the old timers, and we used to go up to his garage and watch his dad put his motors together. Ah. And that was something, that was an art. Anybody could, he said, there's no mechanics anymore, right. He told me. Because he'd pour his own Babbitt, and he'd scrape them, and he'd measure them, and everything. And he put the engines together, and they run. Boy, let me tell you, they run.
Now, was that at Gus's garage?
Up
on Cowden Place?
Up on Cowden Place, in that little garage in the back.
And they were always Hudson's?
Yep, pretty sure.
And my dad was talking about that one time. About
Gus
Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, he was something else. But I used to sit there and boy, I tell you about a cheap, no pun intended, and I don't mean any disrespect, but he'd have a 30-watt bulb, and you're sitting, you're trying to see, and there's only one bulb in the whole damn garage, and that was right over where he was. You go for gasoline, you get just $2 worth to be enough, No sense of filling it up. Then he run out of gas. How many times he run out of gas? Because he didn't figure it out right. So, and bananas. Everybody had to have a banana. That was our lunch. We go to a racetrack and he handed me a banana. That was that was it. Unless you had money, you can go buy a hot dog or something. But oh, them were the days.
Well, talking about the days, I'm reading a program, which was a 1960 program. Very handsome guy in the...
I'll be damned. Who's that?
And it said, Jim recalls, we used to break all the laws. We'd put number 13 on a car, paint it green, and then eat peanuts in the pits, all in violation of strict racing superstition. Then one day in 1954, I barely escaped from a burning car and wound up with 13 stitches on my nose. That happened in the Dunkirk Fairgrounds, yeah.
Memorial Day.
And said you even bear the grisly souvenir of a charred boots at someplace somewhere. Was this sort of a rogue type deal where some of you guys would get together, and I see mention of Phil Nystrom and Jack Stewart?
We just everybody. In other words, back in them days, if there was a race to be someplace, you just went. You'd go, and I remember going to Wellsville, and I can't remember what the race was about, but we were at Wellsville over there, and it was in the middle of a dust storm, and I thought to myself, you got to be crazy, because all I could see was a car flipping, through the air. I couldn't see nothing else. So I said, the hell with this, I pulled off. I said, you're going to kill me, that's not that easy anyhow.
Tell us a little more about that race in Dunkirk, Jim, where you got
Dunkirk,
burned.
oh yeah, where did I get the bandages? Jesus Christ. Well, that was a joke, because we went to this race, and we got there, and what was it? What do you call them? The promoter. Nothing. No, just, line up and go. There was no warm up, no nothing. So we're going up the back straightaway. What the hell? I'm in the lead. What do I know? I got to the the third turn, and they had watered the track, and nobody told anybody. Nothing. Nobody knew what was going on, and I spun and hit the tree. And everything was fine until I got a little warm, and I looked down and the car was on fire. And I remember getting out because my feet were on fire. So I landed, I guess I landed on the middle of the turn, and it was too soft. And I said, there's no grass here, so I kind of started crawling. So then I crawled all the way to the infield, and that's where I laid until they came over. And then what scared me was everybody that rolled you over said, oh my God, he's gonna die. And I said, shit, I didn't plan on dying, I mean, not that day anyhow. And he said he lost his eye, and I said, no, I'm blinking, I can still see. But I had got cut here and here. And so to make a long story short, Barney Cusimano, I'll never forget it. He yells, we gotta hit him to a hospital. So they all run and they grab me. They pick me up. And they're running through the infield to hit Barney's car. Okay? And I don't know who the hell the son of a bitch was to this day. It haunts me. Whoever was carrying my left arm, or right arm, I can't remember which, decided to open the door. So he let me go, and I went down and banged my goddamn head on a rock, and I got 2 stitches up there. So when I got to the hospital, I got out and run like hell. I said, bullshit, you ain't taking me up them stairs. There's no goddamn way you're going to bounce me all the way up them goddamn stairs. Because I figured that son of a bitch, whoever he was, is going to open the door, and I'm not going to, I don't want to be around.
Were you driving a car for the Cusimanos that day?
No, I had my own, I had a car from, it was, the hell was it, number 5, I think.
Okay.
Belonged to Berjodas. Berjodas had a farm, he had a farm on Jones and Gifford.
Yeah.
And Carl had a junkyard up on that property up there, Carl Berjoda. And I was driving for him. And I'll never forget it because this poor bastard. He takes me to the hospital, and they have to call a doctor, and they get those doctors, I'll never forget him either, Dr. LaPaglia. A little son of a bitch, if I could get my hands on him, I'd put a rung in his neck. And he's stitching me, and he's, and he's janking, and you're banging your goddamn head. And of course, I got a goddamn headache.
Because of the guy falling.
Yeah. And everything is, I said, what the hell is going on? And he's telling me he was pissed off because, he was a midget to begin with, I think, because they had to give him a box to stand on. And he was pissed off because he missed in his golf game. He had his spikes on, or whatever how you call them. And as soon as he got through, he had told Carl, he said, how much owe you? And I can't remember if it was charged him $13. And Carl pulled $13 out and threw it at him. And he says, now get the hell out of here. He goes, I'm going to let him up. And son of a bitch, he run like hell, and boy, I was right on his ass, but I never did catch him. I got caught at the desk looking for him, and some nurse pulled my goddamn pants down and stuck me with a needle and right in my ass. And I said, somebody's going to kill me one way or the other here. Oh, dear.
Where do you think this picture was taken, Jim? You recognize the track at all? Obviously, the injuries didn't keep you down.
Evidently not.
Next week, you're at the track looking like the mummy.
And that I don't remember, really and truly.
Sammy gave me that picture.
Did he?
Yeah.
That'd be goddamn.
He said, ask Jim about it. He said, it's a good story.
Yeah, it's a good story, all right.
Sammy wondered if that wasn't out to Jamestown Speedway, but he said Jim will remember, I don't.
No. The only thing I can think of, really and truly, could have been, what the hell was it? Where the wreck was.
Dunkirk?
Dunkirk,
Okay.
at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
That's possible. But Cusamanos had his Jeep there, and I can't remember the Jeep being there either, so.
Yeah, okay.
No, I would have to say that's probably Jamestown Speedway.
At one point, you find yourself buying John Seeley's old car, and was that sort of the beginning of interest in Stateline?
Yeah, that's about it right there. Like I said, I'd been to Jamestown Speedway, and I raced down there, and even pulled a couple of doozies. What the hell is it? You used to have the mass driver. You know, you go over the ramp, go up the ramp and roll over. And I did that too.
You did that?
Sure, what the hell, might as well. It was an extra $5. I mean, come on. That was a lot of money back in them days. Oh, dear.
I'm looking at a program, Jim. Again, this is a 1960 program. And at a time when you were quoted as, "Racing late models is a dream come true for me. Now all I want is once, just once, to carry that checkered flag and find out what it feels like." So it took a little while before you actually won the first one.
I guess so. A lot of years.
What was the circumstances where number one finally came?
That's a good question. I think from what I was reading in that.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's just. In fact, I couldn't even remember who was second. And that's the best part of it.
Why bother?
Well, no, the funny part of it. Stan Stevens was second. Guess who just fixed my car? Stan Stevens' son.
Really?
Yeah. He works for Joe Bacola. Stan Stevens' son. He works for Joe Bacola.
What's his name?
I don't know.
I know the guys down there. I didn't know any of them.
He's the one who works out back. He looks just like Stan if you look at him.
Really?
Yeah. But it's so funny because he's fixing my car, and I had a short in the ignition. I had to go down and buy a new switch. And you got to take the car apart in order to forget it. I said, heck with it. So, but
That was your first win.
yeah.
That was the Layfield.
The Layfield race,
Yeah,
even.
yeah.
A big race.
Yeah, it was a big race, yeah.
Do you remember much about the race itself?
Yes. What I remembered was, I remember trying to, what's his name, trying to pass me. I think it was Whitehead. Well, he tried to pass me, and then all of a sudden he wasn't there. And the next thing I know, I had Bobby Snars alongside of me. And everybody started cheering. I don't know what the hell happened. He lost a wheel. And that was it. Nobody else got close.
So what'd you feel like when you finally get through? This is number one, and it's a major league race.
That's what it says right in there. I spun the sumbitch out just to show everybody that I didn't forget how. And I hit the wall beside it.
You kissed the wall.
Well, hey, don't want to show people I hadn't forgot anything. I've been waited so long.
Well, it must have been a very popular.
Oh, it was very, very, very popular. In fact, the picture, I'm looking at the picture, my daughter, is my buddy there, Tom McGee. Where the heck is he? Yeah, right there. Big old Tom, Dad, Jesus.
Your dad's there?
Yeah, right here.
Yep.
That's
Who
my
else
dad.
is in the picture, Jim?
My wife, my daughter, and Tom McGee. Big Tom. He
So
cost me.
that is the actual photo from
Yep.
your very first win.
That's it, right there.
That's a classic.
That is beautiful. My daughter now is 62 years old. That's something. Time goes on. Dad's been gone for, God, too many years.
How about Tom McGee? What happened to him?
He died too. Poor guy, as big as he was. It was so bad that when he'd come down the house, my wife wouldn't let him sit on the couch.
Really?
No, he weighed over 400 pounds.
Did he work for you, Jim?
Yes and no.
What was his relationship to you?
Just friends. Started out as just friends, and he'd come to the house and he'd buy potato chips and pop, and we'd play cards and stuff like that. And that was it. And then he'd help me out. Cost me a couple of dollars too.
To feed him, I would think so.
Well, no, it wasn't that. He got under the car one day down where I'm at now. And I bought the car, I think it was Johnny Whitehead's car or Bobby Snars's car. I bought it from, here goes a memory again. Anyhow, we were changing the oil. We were going to Wattsburg. And he forgot to tighten the plug up. And we won her first heat. and blew the motor in the second heat, or in the feature, leading, naturally. But what are you going to do?
I'm going to look at this 1960 program again,
Okay,
and I'm going to go through a few names.
sure.
And if there's something that comes to mind, it might be funny story. But here's sort of the guys we've been talking to as well. Marv Thorpe,
Yep. Good old Marv, gas station.
Bobby Schnars. What's Bobby Schnars mean to Jim Pollaro?
No, he's just a buddy.
Yeah.
Good friend. Good friend, always was. Him and his brother, his little brother, Billy, was it Billy? Yeah. Billy and Bobby. I used to go out there all the time and stand inside, you know. When he was building that Plymouth, he rode and drove for Jim Raid. He was building a Plymouth up the Hunt Road.
Yeah.
He used to have that little gas station, there was an old gas station at one time.
Yeah.
Baker Street.
Yeah, on Baker Street. And I used to go up there and watch him.
Oh, yeah?
And Bobby, he was something. That son of a gun, he'd stand there and crawl inside. He welded every piece of that goddamn car. He by himself, and he gas welded it. There was no arc welds back in them days, I guess. If there was, I didn't know what it was. But
What made him so successful?
I wish to hell I could tell you.
Or you would have done it?
Oh yes. Well, no, the guy was very clever. Number one, he was into racing a lot deeper than a lot of us around here, and by that he knew more about little tricks than we've ever even heard of. Now he came out with the first goddamn miniature disc clutch, you know. That was it, where he got all his acceleration and get up and go. And he had the power anytime he wanted it, because, you know, he had such response. And but he was something else. And just like, what was it? Another one was just like him. His name was Johnson. He got killed on a motorcycle.
Ken.
Not Kenny.
Tim.
Tim.
Timmy Johnson.
Yeah. He was another one. They build their own truck arms, trailer arms, you know. The old Tranders. Yeah. Randy, and that was because he would drive, Randy would drive one heat, and then Tim would drive the other. And of course, when they come into pits looking, Randy'd always send them to Randy. He was 6'7", and Tim was only this big. That was so funny. You get a guy who was real pissed off, and he'd come or charge in. He wanted to talk to the driver, and they pointed. Oh well, never mind. They didn't want to
I
talk.
wondered how they shared that car. How could Tim reach the pedals that Randy?
I have no idea.
Well, Randy must have had his knees up on his chest.
I don't know. I really don't. I be honest with you, I never looked into the damn thing. I remember parking alongside of it a few times, but watching them get in and out. But the only thing I can think of is the seat must have been adjustable. You know, and they probably had the tracks on for the seat.
Yeah.
That's the only way it could be, because otherwise there's no way in the world he'd ever reach the pedals, and there was nothing on the pedals.
The most mild and mannered guy that at least self-proclaimed, he said he was the easiest guy to get along with on the track, was Floyd Finale. What was he like?
Floyd? Oh, you out of your mind. Floyd was all talk, and he got in a lot of trouble, but it wasn't for his big brother around all the time. I remember one time, was it Erie or someplace we were racing anyhow. And Floyd, he got in an argument with this guy from Erie, and the next thing the guy was calling him, he was calling him all kinds of names, and Floyd was, you know, threatening him. Next thing you know, the guy's laying on the ground. You know, what the hell? Everybody's screaming. Bud, he took about enough shit. He just hauled off and belled him, knocked all his goddamn teeth out. Jeez. Oh, he really ruined them. He said that. Yeah, Bud and I, we went to Florida once, and that was funnier than hell, because he drive like a goddamn on the racetrack, on the road, and on the race there was no difference, you know. I tell him, what the fuck you're crazy, you know. You know, we're doing whatever the hell we were doing. We're going down this damn mountainside, and there's a car up there, but it's flashing, you know, lights are flashing. And it's got 3 guys or 4 guys, they're workers. He come flying there, that's it. I reached over and jammed the brakes on. I said, that's it. And we got out, took a swing at each other, you know. And I wouldn't drive I wouldn't let him drive anymore. I drove the rest of the way to Florida. I figured, piss on you. You're not going to kill me, you bastard. I'm not going to let you. I'll kill myself. But
Yeah.
oh, well.
Here's your old buddy, Bud.
Oh, yeah. Good old Bud. God, he was fun. There was one guy he didn't take any shit from nobody. I mean it, literally.
He was tough, huh?
He was, well, it wasn't, I don't know how tough he was, but I tell you what, he wouldn't stand there and argue with you. He'd flatten you. That's as simple as that. That was as simple as that. He did all his arguing with his hands.
Jim, do you remember how Bud died? Or the circumstances around his death?
No,
I don't either.
I don't remember. I remember him passing, but I don't remember. I knew he'd been sick. I don't know whether it was cancer. Just like Paul Wilson. Jesus Christ. I went up to the hospital to visit. I couldn't even believe what I was looking at. Mm-hmm. Paul was just, you know, muscular. Tattoos all over the place.
Yeah.
He must have weighed 90 pounds.
No kidding.
Yeah, before he died.
Frank Ruhlman had 3 drivers at one time.
Yeah.
Heil Russell, what was
Right.
he, who had success? And
Yeah.
What was he like?
Heil was another quiet one, real quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was something about that area that where they got them drivers from, but everybody was quiet. You know, Bobby was quiet. You know, all these guys they were more into racing than clowns like me that was just out having a goddamn good time. You know, you didn't give a shit what it was. But that's the truth.
Eddie Kisco, same way?
Eddie's the same way. Yeah, he was another one.
We did interview Eddie. Eddie's
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ronnie Blackmore was sort of the young kid in that trio.
Yeah, yeah. He was a character too. He could drive though. Son of a bitch, he could drive. I remember going down to his garage one time, and the old, what the hell, Rutman, his father-in-law.
Frank Ruhlman.
Roman. And I was kidding him, you know, but he said, you goddamn fools don't know what you're doing. So he took my thumb, he had the valve covers off, and he's pushing the valve down. Hydraulic valve. That's uncalled. Everybody runs, you know, solid cut. No, I almost lost my goddamn finger. He pushed it down so hard, he said, you don't need all that stuff. Don't ask me how he did.
So he was just lightening up the car? And
He was lightening the car up, and then he had, like Bobby, with the triple clutch and the finger, with the hydraulic lifters. That'd be a son of a bitch. It was just unbelievable. You know, all the time you're thinking about how you can spend what this or buy that or buy this to make it go faster. Shit, they were going faster than you could go, and then they wouldn't tell you anything. You know, nobody said nothing. Everything was a secret.
Is that right? Was there not a lot of sharing of
No.
information?
Yeah.
What about a guy named, he was in car number F9, Jug Pierce.
Oh, yep, that old Jug. Yep, he was a character. He would rather drink than do anything else, but I think in 54, 55, we had, they came out with a $100 bonus for a new car. So he went and got some tape, and he taped some cardboard and made some wings on the back, you know, so we made a 57 out of it, you know. And that was fine until they blew off.
What did Leonard say about that?
Oh, he wasn't happy about that.
Leonard didn't pay him the money, did he?
I couldn't tell you. I wasn't standing there waiting there.
John Seeley.
John Seeley, another good man. Yep, he was another one with hard luck. He just, I can't remember what race he led. I was a 100-lapper, I think. He must have led that damn thing for 95, 96 laps, and the engine blew.
Yeah.
And he was just sick over it. Everybody was at the time, you know, Christ. Because he was one of the clique, you know.
Sammy Lemancuso.
Sammy, he's another one. Same thing. He's quiet. Never said too much, but hard worker. and very, very, very intelligent. Very intelligent. I mean, he could fix anything. He still can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a guy number 41, Jim Pollaro. What was he like?
I don't know, that crazy bastard. It's hard to say about him. Every day was a holiday, you know. That's all it was. It was a game. It was just a game, going out and having fun.
There was a guy from Erie, Pennsylvania. We talked to just the other day. Number 51, Tom Dill.
Oh God, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy's a good friend. Can't remember too much about. We used to go to Motordrome and race, and Tom would bring his motorcycle, and then he'd try to go up the hill with me on it, you know. And we'd get almost to the top, and I just put my feet down and fucking let him go out from underneath me. I said, "You're not going to kill me." I've always told the same thing. You can't kill me that way. I won't let you. But Tommy, we had Warren, Pennsylvania. What the hell was it?
Dickie Bend, what's that called?
What is it?
Dickie Bend?
Dickie Bend, the second Dickie Bend, not the first one.
The new one,
Yeah.
okay.
The new one, he come up the back straightaway and flipped it. And I know I come up the back straightaway and I was running behind him, but the car looked like it was going to catch on fire. I remember jumping out and getting him out on my shoulders and running to the infield, and that was it. And we were a buddy from there that day on. Honest to God, we're closer than what you can believe.
Jim Scott.
Who?
Jim Scott.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy. Here's another one. He's another character. Jimmy is. I can't believe his boys. Really and truly, you know, they were both little ones, like this big. And Jimmy used to be a runner, but he just couldn't see for shit. And I remember one time what the hell was it? Oh, I guess we were at Erie. And I was leading, and he's trying to get by me, and I kept going out and, you know, taking a wide exit, and I'd get him into the wall every time, you know. He took offense to it. So, in fact, the whole grandstand and all the pit, they're all going to kill me, so I said, okay, let's go. Get it started. We'll start now and we'll finish it off. But we turned out to be friends after that. I just told him, I said, you dumb son of a bitch, if you wasn't dumb enough after the first or second lap, you knew goddamn well I was going to go out wide, and you try to pass on the outside, and you're blaming me? I said, you're the dumb son of a bitch. That's how we got along so good.
Yeah, I can see that. Chuck Piazza.
Oh, yeah, Charlie. Yeah, he's all right. He was a good kid. He done very well when he left Jamestown. He went down to Florida and hooked up with, I can't remember who it was, but he made him big time down there. He run some. We went down there, Sammy and I. We went down to see Chuck, and we went to his racetrack where he was, and he was a big shot down there. Yeah, he was really a big shot because he had his own place. You know, what I mean is they announced him, get in his booth, and you mentioned his name, you got in. Yeah, so he was a wheel down there, but he earned it. He didn't get it for nothing.
There was a guy, 5'11", Squirt Johns.
Oh yeah, Skirt was another one. I got to tell you one story about Skirt. See, I had just had my teeth removed, and I had this habit, you know, I can't drive with the goddamn things in. I take them out and I put them in my pocket, you know. And then I get into, you know, dumbass, you pull your strips tight and then you're bouncing around. Well, when we got out of the car, talking to Skirt about something, and I'm using all the foul language you can think of, you know, because I didn't know anything different. And then he introduced me to this preacher. And this is Father so-and-so. And I said, oh, you son of a bitch. I said, you know, thanks for the warning, you know. But anyhow, when I took my shirt off, I had these teeth marks on my tip. And I said, hey, many guys can go around and say they suck their own goddamn tips off. I had put them in my top pocket, and when by pulling them tight, and sons of bitches, they bit in. In fact, I had to explain it to my wife when I got home. What the hell is going on? I said, look at the teeth mark, they're mine.
I don't know where this all fits in the documentary, but it's wonderful. It's a terrific story. Whew. I feel like Jim Scott. I can't see now anymore. Oh, that's terrific. What about some of the owners themselves? Leonard Briggs.
Leonard, yeah, he was a character and a half. But Leonard was all right. He just, I don't know how to explain it. Leonard was firm, but he'd give a little bit. You know, you could work with Leonard if you talk to him right. What more can I tell you?
But he ruled the track, right?
Oh yeah.
Among the ownership
Yeah,
group.
that's right. He was. He made all the decisions.
The Franks, what were their roles on the track?
Well, Jerry, more or less, he was like a maintenance man. He used to run the tracks in and water them and everything else. And I remember when there was 2 tracks in Sugar Grove. The first Skyline, was that what it was? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember going up there too.
Yo, you raced up there too, Jim?
Yeah, with all the telephone poles standing up all the way around the track. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember standing in the pits, and all of a sudden, I got hit with a stone. You know, the stones were flying all over the place. And I kept wondering, what the hell's going on? So I looked down, took my shoe off, and all full of blood. I had to go down and get 4 stitches right here, right in my shoe bone. I said, I'll never forget that race. So.
And Skyline, who owns Skyline? Do you know who?
Skyline, I believe, was the same guys. Briggs and all the rest of them.
You think they own that?
I'm pretty sure they were, because that was an old potato field, from what I remember. And that was Skyline. What the hell, Johnny? No, Johnny. What the hell is it? Used to work for the telephone company. Joe Saunders.
Joe Saunders.
Yeah, Saunders, yeah. He raced up there too.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was so funny because he'd never, I don't know whether he had never been around a oval track or whatever the hell it was, but I remember taking him out, showing him how to go around the racetrack, you know, until I got into the fence, you know, and then I told him, well, you don't have to do that, you know.
So you think those guys all were those?
I believe.
Guys
I'm pretty sure. Yes, I do.
There's another guy that was involved up the Skyline named Cliff Coons.
That one
ring a bell, Jim?
No.
Okay.
That one I don't remember. Cliff Coons. But I remember Jerry and his brother and Marv. Who the hell else?
Lloyd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
We were at Johnny Whitehead's house last Saturday, and he remembers you. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Johnny Whitehead.
In fact, one of the things we found in his scrapbook.
No kidding.
In his scrapbook, and you maybe you can see it here.
Pollaro takes Russell Memorial. I'll be darned. I'll be son of a gun.
So he was proud of you.
Yeah.
Obviously, and he wasn't in the top, so it's not like he finished second. In fact, he was finished 15th. So, do you remember the Russell Memorial race?
Mm-hmm.
Was that one of the bigger ones that you'd won up there?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What were there some other highlights for Jim Pollaro as you reflect back on State Line? Do you remember some certain races that were more meaningful than others for you?
The first one had to be the best.
Believe
you know, that what took so long to get. And I didn't want to know nothing about anything or anybody else right there. I had won, period.
Yeah.
In fact, by reading this, I couldn't believe that Stan Stevens was second.
Yeah.
You know, especially when his son was working on my car yesterday.
Yeah, I went on to say 3,830 delighted fans cheered on Pollaro.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was always, you know, I could lead more races than you ever seen in your life. In fact, there was one time, it was a paper, but I don't have it now. But it says Pollaro champ, big headline, you know. It says, but you don't finish. I could lead everything. In other words, start any place and be up front, but then something would break or something would go. So.
Well, you won this Layfield Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Did you race against Dean Layfield? Did you race against Dean Layfield?
Oh yeah.
What was he like?
Dean was just quiet. His brother Herbie.
Herbie?
Yeah, Herbie. I remember Herbie too at Wellsville. But Herbie was the nut. Really.
Was he?
Yeah, he was almost like the elevator and didn't get all the way to the top. You know? But Herbie he was a hell of a nice guy, but he just was loose as a goose, you know, all the time. He was fluttering around all the time.
Because at least in our era, at our age, watching racing in the late 50s, Layfield's name keeps coming up. And was he, and we were just trying to figure out really why that was. I'm not sure he had as much success as Bobby or Squirt. I mean, but it just kept Layfield name.
Yeah, it just, I don't know what the heck, I don't remember how it started out or what the reason was, but one of them blank spots again. See?
Was there some guys who had some different techniques and just getting around the oval, like Squirt or Bobby? Did they have different techniques from a guy like Tom Dill or a Dean Layfield? Or
well, yeah, Bobby and Dick Barton, inside. You got to get it inside and make it work. And the rest of them, in fact, Earnhardt, when he came up, and they raced up here, he run the outside. I've never been in a strange car. The only thing I remember, the car, I can't remember whose the car was, but it had a little dinky steering wheel. And he got in, he took that thing in his hands, and he says, shit, he threw it out. He says, you know, it was snapping. So I said, well, I told my kid, go get my steering wheel, and I give him mine. And he goes, no, that's a man-sized wheel, you know. And the way he wheeled that son of a bitch around, it was inside, outside, it made no difference. He never let off. He just kept going around. He was something else. But we've had many good, spectacular drivers. But hard to remember them all.
yeah.
I mean, really and truly, over all the years, I mean, you had features that you remember that you ran in, and you can't figure out how the hell it had to happen. You know, how did the guy get up there? It's impossible.
Right.
But he did it, you know. So he was running a lot faster than you were.
Jim, I'd like to ask you about your style. I sat in the stands, and you know, between the start-finish line and the first turn, and Jim Pollaro would throw mud on me every night. You know.
Yeah. Well,
you could throw that thing in early, and
well, that was the whole idea, to get it sideways so you could get out of the damn thing. But a couple of times it didn't work, you know. I remember one time, I can't believe it. I had such a lead. It was a heat race. You know, about in the fourth lap, I must have been 3/4 of a lap ahead of everybody. And I never let off. I come like in a damn turn and I smacked that goddamn wall. Jesus Christ, you talk about stop. That cement wall, don't move at all. I went in there backwards, you know. It never got too fast. And boy, that hurt. It bent the frames. And then everybody asked me, what the hell was you trying to do? And I was trying to kill myself, I guess.
You know, when you got into the pits, in races, and sometimes they're maybe a little more contentious than normal. Did the guys get out of the car and sort of, was there sort of emotion among the drivers?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. Mostly started out, it would be name calling, you know.
Yeah.
You asshole or something like that.
Yeah.
Or thanks a lot, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, that's about it. But no, I can't remember any. Well, Erie. See, Palmer and Dick Litz, they had it going one thing or another, and all of a sudden they ended up on the ground, rolling around. And I remember all the crew getting around, you know, and everybody. I see a guy coming with a big, I said, put that sumbit down, otherwise you're going to end up wearing it. I said, let them fight. Get it off their system. They'll be friends after that. Yeah. You know, and that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
So.
We've asked the question of everybody. This is the constant question. If it came down to the last lap of a feature race, and Jim Pollaro is right there, and if there's one guy you really didn't want to have to go head-to-head with, who's going to probably bump you a little bit or be a little more aggressive or do whatever it took to knock you out of the way to win, who might that be?
Boy, oh boy. I can't think of his name right at the moment. But I got a picture of him in my head. Because that's exactly what was happening. I tried to pass him. And the son of a bitch, all of a sudden, he'd end up with more goddamn speed you ever seen. 100 miles an hour, then he'd get on the goddamn brakes and sit sideways, defying you to hit him, you know. And you try to go around him, then he'd take off again, you know. What the hell was his name? He's a little shit, too. Only about so big, but yeah. He was from Pennsylvania. I can't remember his name.
Well, I tell you the answer that most people gave as being the most aggressive. Like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tom Dill.
Oh, yeah. Tommy, hey, no time to... I'll give you one more thing that you hadn't heard. Tom, one time I asked him, Tom, where the hell are the gauges in the car?
Mm-hmm.
He says, there's the gauge. He has a starter button, you know. He says, that's all you need. That's what he means. He says, if it's hot, he says, it'll steam. He says, if you don't have any oil pressure, he says, it'll blow. He says, so what the hell do you need gauges for? And I thought, I'd be a son of a bitch, I could have saved a fortune buying all them goddamn gauges, you know. Use his theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we asked the same question of Tom, and who was the toughest one for Tom, and he goes, nobody.
No, no, you shouldn't. If you were in the way, you just got booted, that's all. But payback was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because I remember one time what was his name, the photographer? Oh, shit.
Gordon Man?
Gordy. Gordy came around selling pictures one time, and I looked at the picture, and there's this picture of me going around, and guess who put me around? Tom, you know, with a big smile on his face. I figured, you son of a bitch. So payback was hell. So that night, I took the picture to him, and I said, how does it feel now, you son of a bitch? I took him out. Hey, payback is fun.
Was there a lot of that? Was there?
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, especially you will say maybe you cut somebody a little close going into the corner or something like that. You never touched them, but he had a hard on for you, so the next goddamn, he was going to show you how close he could get. Mm-hmm. But he got too close that time, you know, in the bag. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever get a sense of somebody who actually just wanted to hit you for the sake of hurting you?
No, I never believed that. No. The one and Dick Barton, we were good friends, and we were at Erie, and I was leading, and Dick was running second. And for some or whatever the hell reason, he come down the straightaway, and there's no way in the world he could have made the car because he was in the mud. There was no way in the world you could stop or turn. But so he nailed me and took me out, and him and I had a few words over that. Yeah. And you know, but we got over it. That was the end of it. Yeah. Oh well.
Questions?
Jim, was there one car that just was your dream car that worked the best?
Yes, the car that I bought from Skip Furlow. And I believe, the hell was it? Because I went to Minnesota to get another one.
Was it a Gigolo?
No.
Bop?
No. Oh, what the hell was the name of it? Because we drove with little Bobby, remember Bobby Walsh?
Yeah.
Bobby and I went all the way out there in his truck to pick the car up.
Up to Minnesota?
Yeah.
Gundacker. Was it a Gundacker chassis?
No, son of a... Yeah, see, now Skip was there, we could but anyhow, that was the car. I wish I'd have never sold it, never got rid of it, because I think we'd won 4 or 5 features that year. Oh. You know, so it wasn't. It was that thing could just. The harder it got, the better it got. It was a hard racetrack. You know how the racetrack gets a Stateline. You didn't know what the hell tire to use half the time. If you put too soft, it would get 10 laps and you're gone. And if it was too hard, you just wouldn't go nowhere. But that thing, the harder the track got, the faster the thing went. Honest to God.
Jim, I remember as a fairly young guy, the Stock Car Racing magazine wrote a story about you.
Mm-hmm.
You remember being in Stock Car Racing magazine? I mean, you were the man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody from Stateline had ever been featured in Stock Car Racing magazine, and they came up there and wrote a story about you.
Yeah, some woman. I'll never remember. I can't remember her name right at the moment, but I was thinking about it. Yeah, because the picture that I believe it was in the magazine. I've still got the magazine at home, so. Picture in the magazine, I believe John Seeley was helping me do something on the engine when they took the picture. I can't.
Here's what I remember.
K
about
something.
this.
K something.
Was
or
it
other.
really?
K, yeah,
something?
yeah.
I don't have any idea. But I'll never forget this as long as I live, Jim. You lost a motor that night. And the woman was writing in the article how Jim was very calm and took it very easily, despite losing a very expensive motor. And Jim's quote was, "I'd kick the crap out of it if I thought it would bring it back." But it did, but it won't. So you deal with it. And I'll never forget you saying that. You weren't upset. You just said, "Well, that's racing."
That's the way it goes. Sometimes you get the bear, and sometimes the bear gets you.
Why would they select you? Do you know what the reason?
No, I really don't remember now.
You were having a good year, I think. That
Yeah, I do.
Jim,
I believe so.
and think about it. You'd been around a while then. You were one of the senior guys at the track, probably one of the most respected guys. And
Well, I don't know about that, but
so they came up and wanted to talk to Jim
I
Pollaro.
can't.
And you'd been down to Motordrome, and you'd
I'd
raced
been all
around.
over, yeah.
People knew who you were, so it wasn't.
No, that's
It
true.
was just. I just remember it was a big deal for stock car racing to go
Yeah.
Stateline and interview
In fact,
one of our
you know,
guys.
it sounds so strange. You're talking about that. I guess it was my sister's granddaughter. My sister just passed away here a month ago or so, and cleaning out her stuff, her granddaughter calls me, says, "I'm going through Mom's stuff and we found this racing magazine. It's got your picture in it and a big article. You want?" I said, "I've got one, honey. Don't worry about it. You keep it." So it was funny. Yeah. K Presto.
That's it.
Let's see, just come back.
Jim, yeah.
Yeah, just bringing back old times. See, K Presto. Yeah.
The other
I don't
thing the
remember-
other drivers have told us about you, Jim, is that you organized the best parties.
Yeah.
Let's always
Oh.
trying to outdo each other
Ain't
as
that
to
the
who was
truth?
going to have the best parties.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, if you would.
Well, I remember one time I had owned a bar on 380, the Hofbrauhaus.
Yeah.
The Hofbrauhaus, anyhow. We went out of business. So, figured, hey, we put all the beer, all the whiskey in the back of the pickup. You know, just loose. Just put it in. Had all the empty, everything. Filled it full of ice, went to the races. Boy, did we get fucking stink up. So then we went from there, we went to Wattsburg. There was another race. We walked in, the guy said, "Ain't no goddamn way in the world you can get in the car." I said, "Shit, I'm lucky if I could walk." I wasn't about to drive. No way in the world. I said, "No, I couldn't help you." But that was one of it. Dick Litz, and I'll never forget falling asleep and using a rock for a pillow. You know, big rock, put it down and lay your head on. Yeah, that's all this concrete anyhow. You can't hurt it. Oh dear.
Was there a lot of camaraderie among the racers then?
Yes, there was. Really, there was. You know, we'd stop at bars together,
Right.
or 3 or 4 or 5 guys. Even Ronnie Blackburn one time. We come back from, I can't remember where the hell we were, but it's way down, long ways. We stopped in, but Ronnie didn't drink, but we got him into this bar, and we introduced him to whiskey. And oh boy, he turned out to be a lush after that. Yeah, he really got to enjoy it. Yeah, we all blamed ourselves on that one. We should have never took him in there. Oh, well.
Who was the group? Who was your group of guys you used to hang around with?
Well, see, it was John Seeley back them days. John, and then in Erie it was Tom Dill and Dick Litz and Stateline was either those all the guys at Stateline, just about anybody. Everyone. Dick Barton, we all partied together.
Yeah.
I can't remember. We went to Motordrome and can't remember. We ended up cooking. What was it? Oh, we went. That's what it was. We went to. My crew went to Motordrome, and I decided I was going to race at Raceway 7 because there was an invitational. What the hell? I might as well go over there. But I didn't have the tires, so I got a hold of Dick, and he said, "Don't buy no tires." He says, "I'll bring you some." All right. So I didn't even ask him what tread they were, nothing. He had some used tires. They were Baloney's, the big ones, 103 inches around, And we got there, and I time trialed and ended up winning the race, And I remember going back there. They were telling everybody, people who went to the race. They went back to Motordrome, and I hadn't got there yet, and they want to know who won the race. To ask my pit crew, and they said, "I don't know, some goddamn Guinea." And they said, "Huh?" Yeah, says, "Jim Pollaro." He's all horseshit. He didn't win. Hell, he didn't. Yeah, won $2,000.
I was there that night.
Yeah.
I remember you winning that race at Raceway 7.
Yeah, it was a joke because everybody in the place. I started. They inverted the first 10, I think it was, or the first 10, or 8, and every time I'd get past, they'd have to pull out for some reason or other. Nobody wanted the goddamn thing, I guess, because oh shit, I can't think of his name now either. Third track specialist from down south.
You're going to tell me about Bob Wearing.
Bob Wearing, right.
I'm reading your mind.
Yeah, and son of a gun, he went by and pulled in the pits. So, everybody was breaking down or doing something. And I don't know, Skip Furlow, Skip. He went past me, he pulled in. Everybody pissed. Even Dick Litz, he pulled in. The hell, I was running all by myself out there. I got up to third. And the guy in front of me was another big shot from Pennsylvania. I can't remember his name. He'd been a champion there for a long time. And I could see he was out of tires completely. I don't know, he definitely picked the wrong tire. And because he was skating and he was going down low. So I figured the only shot I got is to go him on the outside. Because my car was still working. So I drove around on the outside and he tried to run me off. He comes from the outside. When I got by him, he'd come up, but I was going fast enough. I had enough to get by him. So you get to the next corner, and Dave Hess. Dave Hess was leading, right? So I figured, well, I got nothing to lose. I got go in there, and Dave Hess goes off, blows the tire, and goes off the end, right? So I figured, shit, I just got it made. So I'm going to turn in there. Here comes Dave Hess, out of the goddamn over the bank, and runs right into the side of me. I kissed the goddamn wall and bounced off the wall. I said, "Fuck you! In this house, we're gonna go there," and we won. It was unbelievable. Bounced the wall up, but we got it there. So that's how the boys found out that I won.
Jim, do you have any good stories about towing to the racetrack?
Yeah. We got some tires. Yeah, we got a few tires there. We had an old Lincoln that I used for a tow rig. And it was a 460. The fucker would fly. And I mean, when I say fly, 100 miles an hour was nothing. And that's with the trailer and the car and all the equipment and everything on it. Right down the expressway, 100 miles an hour. Crazy bastards. Oh dear. And I can't remember, what the hell was it? Oh, I blew a tire. Not on the car, but on the trailer. So after it got to thumping a while, we just pulled off and changed the tire and everything. Then we went back and caught everybody. Well, the time it took me to pick this car up, change the tire, and get back on the road, I ended up passing all the same cars again. They were all going so slow. In fact, a couple of them asked him, he says, how fast were you going? And I said, I wasn't looking at the speedometer. I turned the dash lights off. I said, it's better to you get sued. One guy from Erie said, he was doing something like 80 or 85. He says, he went by me like I was standing still. I said, the guy was running good that night. So what can I tell you? Yeah, and then
you started when you first started at Stateline in I think about 59 or 60. You guys are running pretty much stock.
That's it.
Stock cars.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
And but your career lasted all the way into the block chassis, block motors.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you saw the whole thing from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But other than how cars changed, did racing change during your career? The actual sport of racing?
Nah, mostly it was the promoters. In other words, whoever was promoting whatever track that you were running at, or if you went to the promoter, we've had promoters taking leave, and we all standing there to get paid, and there was no money, you know, one of them deals. And then I run that race that I won at the racetrack you said you were there.
Raceway 7.
Raceway 7. That race there, we went down, we won. That was another story. Now that was there was another race in upstate New York. And it was
It was up at Syracuse.
right.
Rolling Wheels.
Rolling Wheels,
You were
right.
there.
That's right.
Okay.
And we went up there, and I was guaranteed a spot. So I figured, what the hell? I'm guaranteed. I'm looking at the pay sheet and everything. So the consi comes up, and of course I have to run the consi. So they said, all right, no problem. I'll run the consi. And I'm leading the consi. You know, I'm thinking to myself, this is stupid. I've already guaranteed a spot. So I said, I'll let this guy behind me go. So I let up on the gas a little bit and let him go by, and I followed him, and I finished second. Huh? You're already guaranteed. But second paid like the first paid like $200 or $300 or $400. I can't remember. I got $25. I said, "Fuck, it wasn't worth it," you know. And we got in the big. We almost ended up in jail because one word led to another word. You know how that goes. And so some of them guys in that organization, I don't know if they're mafia members or what, but they were big sons of bitches.
Yeah, that was that NDRA.
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
That was when you had that Corvette body car.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a screw job. Boy, that was so goddamn cold that night, honest to Christ. It was so cold. We took a glass of water and set it on the trailer, and the sumbitch was froze solid.
Wow.
And in the car you're sitting, I drained it. We had drained the radiator in the block, right on the trailer, right there for the piss on. I hadn't taken no chances. But what are you gonna do?
What's the question you've been waiting for, Jim? What's you saying? Gee, I hope these guys finally get around and ask this question.
I don't know. Probably the question would be, would I do it again? You're damn right. You're damn right.
Yeah, you spent a lot of money on that sport over the years, Jim. And you don't regret it at all, do you?
Not a word. The money I threw away, I used to tell my wife, what do you want to do? What do you want to eat this week? You want hamburgers or chicken wings, or do you want to buy meat this week? I got to buy a race car. You got to buy something for the race car. Tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Erie one time. Yeah, Erie. I bought a brand new tire. When I was leading the feature, and some bitch blew the tire broke. That's before anybody, you know, was smart enough to know anything. Never checked for clearances. You know, going through the corner, when the tire was soft, the sidewall would go out and was rubbing on the shock. It cut right through the tire. Then my wife wanted to know if we could take it back and get our money back, and I said, no.
Yeah, right.
I think it was $55, and that was a lot of money.
Jim, I want you to confirm this story if it's true or not. I think Greenie told me this story. You were racing at Erie, and something happened to your car where the header got bent and the exhaust was pouring into the car, and you became asphyxiated, but you were like leading the race and you didn't want to. And finally, you just kind of like pulled into the infield and staggered out of the car. And your dad was there watching you, and he got so excited worrying about you that he had a heart attack, and he was taken to the hospital and you weren't,
Yeah.
or something like that. Tell that story. If
That's
you
about it. Now, the fumes were unbelievable. I just had so much goddamn fumes. I got drunk. In plain English, my mind was gone. I had nothing. I do remember getting out, and I know Dad. I don't believe he had a heart attack, but we had to take him to the hospital. He had chest pains.
Yeah, that's chest pains.
Yeah, and we didn't want to take any chances because Dad was getting up there in years, and to make a long story short, so we went.
And here's the other story. This is my other favorite Jim Pollaro story. After the races, we were going to go over to that St. Boniface's Ushers Club.
Yeah,
Well, nobody was a member over there.
that's right.
And you had to be a member to get in. Well,
Yeah.
Jim got up to the front of the line, and he had all us guys behind him. And they stopped him at the door and said, membership card. And Jim says, no, next guy back there's got it. Well, we all took the cue from Jim, and we got, no, guy behind us, guy behind us. We're all inside. They get to the last guy. He's got no membership card. Meanwhile, Jim and the rest of Jim's up at the bar buying everybody drinks because he's got us all into the club
Quick thinking, I like
he got
that.
us all into a club where membership was required,
that's-
and nobody had a membership.
Right, it's just, give everybody a drink.
Yeah, that was-
Everybody, I said, yeah, you have one too. Okay, what the hell?
Yeah.
We were all buddies.
Yeah, then you're in. That's
Right, I'm in now.
I just remember that poor guy at the end. I mean, he's
I don't know nothing.
he didn't know anything, but
Troublemaker.
yeah, Jim got us all in.
Yeah, well, you talk about all night. It was morning when we left. The sun was coming up. People, that's really crazy. Oh, you left before that. Oh,
I couldn't hang with you, Jim.
Jesus Christ, them were the days. Them were the good old days. Coming home from Erie, boy, I don't know any time coming by Julian Busig's place. You come down that long goddamn hill? 105 miles an hour. I went through the light there. And when he pulled me, after 12 miles, he caught me. And then I stopped, and he wanted to know. He was so fucking mad. I mean, he was pissed off. He was pulling his pants up, and he was a little bit heavy-set guy. And my wife's telling, she said, "You better shut up." And I said, fuck, I have some fun. What the hell's there? What's he going to do? He's already got his pinch, right? There's no sense worrying about it. So he wanted to know, he says, "How fast are you going?" I says, "I'll tell you the truth, the last time I looked," I said, "it was a little over 100. I says, "But the fucker's been missing on it." I got, and he got pissed. I said, calm down, don't get excited. He says, "You better get the fuck out of here." He says, "or I'll throw your ass in jail." I said, "Yes, sir. Anything you like." So we left. He never even wrote us up, nothing.
Let you go.
Yeah.
That's great.
He was so fucking mad. He couldn't, it was so funny because he was stuttering so bad. I said, "Hey, you win, you lose."
This has been terrific, Jim. You're a terrific interview.
Yeah, you're
Well,
good,
thank you.
Jim. Yeah, you're good. Well, of course, we knew it.
Yeah.
I told everybody you were going to be good, Jim.
Okay.
Randy's got some. He's got some team.
I need some
pictures.
help.
Okay.
Need some help.